Hey, good morning. It's the Fort Worth Playboy, and welcome to the Fort Worth Playboy morning show. And I'm bringing this up, remembering that for the first time ever, and I've done literally tens of thousands of hours of video, was a gentleman had commented on the fact that it was bothering him that we were off center a little bit and that I was looking down. So I can't do anything about the looking down today, but I can at least somewhat aim this thing and try to get centered to the best of my ability. And I didn't notice it until we went live. That is neither here nor there. The information is what's more important than the presentation, especially in this case, giving you game, pickup, relationship, and sex advice that you can actually apply, help you move girls from complete strangers to naked and in your bed and returning consistently in a repeatable method that you can just literally plug and play women into your system. So that's what we do here. And when I say we, it's usually myself and my Playboys buddy. The plan is for her and I to be here tomorrow morning together to answer questions, go over some tweets at 7 a.m. Central Standard Time. And it's the best time to ask questions because we can kind of tap into her girl brain. You've got two people working on your challenge, and we can do it live. So that's the real deal. We always start off the show with a maxim. And if you have any questions you would like addressed during the broadcast, put them in the comment box on YouTube, and I will do my absolute best to address them today. I'm a little bit behind. Here we go. Maxim number 26, super important. If a woman says the word sex in conversation with you or about you, no matter the context, it means she's thinking about having sex with you. And yes, this does include they always trot this one out when you're on a first date. I'm not having sex with you tonight, which means she's been thinking about having sex with you, which means there's a good chance she will have sex with you tonight. You just need to know that, because what girls say isn't really that important once you learn game, because it overrides. They all have like their lines. They have their script, just kind of like, when you meet a girl for the first time and you hang out for a few hours and then you go back to your place and you bang her and you put her in the Uber and you're like, okay, see you later. And you remember her profile says no hookups. Then you really think about it. And every girl you've ever hooked up with, her profile said no hookups. That's because they know they'll hook up. So they have to throw that out there. And there's a lot of things that are out there for social niceties. Girls feel that they have to say certain lines in order. It's like an insurance policy. I told him I'm not thinking about sex. I told him we're not having sex, but we did it. It just happened. She just happened to have it. I mean, we just went back to his apartment to see his monkey, and it just happened. Again, a lot of times when a girl is telling you she's not going to have sex, she's not thinking about sex, the idea of her having sex with you has not crossed her mind. She's telling you these things. It's her insurance policy for when you are putting her in the Uber 3 hours from now after she just had sex with you, that it just happened. Girls cannot be responsible at all ever for any sex actually occurring. They have to give all that responsibility and the fact that it happened to you in case something bad happens. Who knows if she gets into an accident, her husband finds out, her boyfriend finds out. None of it can be her fault. It has to have just happened. So your key to knowing, is a girl interested, is does she actually mention the word sex around you? There is a caveat here. And this is, I would say, use this face to face. Use this to your leverage, But very early on, if you're just meeting a girl, and a girl starts bringing up sex, or like her sexual adventuresome, or I love to do this, and it feels like it's too soon, it's forced. A lot of times that is beta bait. That is her saying, if you'll be like, yeah, if you'll like jump onto it because you're so thirsty, and thirsty guys turn women off. So if a girl does pull out the sex card too early and you sense it in your gut, you can just go, hey, thanks for the medical report, and then change the subject. Just know that some girls will try to bait you into this, and then it's done. Normally, but if they do, they make it all the way to a meetup and they give you the classic line of, hey, I just want you to know we're not having sex tonight. You're like, oh, okay. You just go along with it. It doesn't mean anything. You just continue with your program, and then you just lead her along. But again, it's an insurance policy. But know in your mind, when girls do mention the word sex, they're already, and let me put it this way: if they meet you from an app, they sifted through 10,000 men, maybe 8,000, 10,000 men, and they narrowed it down to like a few hundred that they kind of messaged back. And then maybe less than 10, you guys clicked. And less than 5, she goes, yeah, I'll meet up with this guy. Then she spends a couple days talking about to her friends that she's interested. She's got this interesting guy she met on the app. She's going to go out for a drink Friday night, and she buys a dress. And then she spends a few hours she leaves work early. She spends a few hours getting ready. This is a big deal. This might be the last fucking first date she has to go on. Gets into her car. She drives 30 minutes. She pays for parking. She walks to the venue to meet you. There's a damn good chance she will fuck you. After going through all of that, there's a damn good chance, 99% chance she will fuck you that night if you don't talk her out of it. You just need to know that everything that happened with her to get her in front of you is working in your favor to close the deal. Only you can fuck it up. And that's what you need to know. And if maximum number 26, if a woman says the word sex in conversation with you or about you, no matter the context, it means she's thinking about having sex with you, and you need to use that to your advantage. Next slide. Masculine Peak asks some damn good questions. If you don't follow him or subscribe. I'm not sure what subscribe means anymore. I don't think I've subscribed to anybody, but I follow a lot of people. What are the biggest secrets about women they don't want men to know? And I always have the same answer. And men go, yeah. And girls go, that's not true, which tells you all you need to know about how true it is. Women's greatest secret is their ability to fuck multiple men at the same time, with each man thinking he's the only one. They'll deny this happens. You can ignore that. Again, when you meet a girl, she's attractive. She's attractive enough for you to chase her, for you to at least be noticing her. There is a 99 to 100% chance she's fucking somebody else when you meet her. And then for a while, she's fucking you and she's fucking him, just in case you don't quite work out. And then she can always have the backup, and the backup to the backup too. But you will never know about this guy. And this is where that saying, she's not yours, it's just your turn, comes from. And it gets guys all kind, their underwear gets tight just hearing it. But what it is to convey is the actual reality that attractive women are always fucking someone or someone's. And then there may be a time when it's your turn and you're going to fuck her for a few weeks, months, years. Then things will change. She'll be fucking somebody else. And there will probably be a transition period where she's fucking you and she's fucking the new guy, your replacement, or two or three guys that she thinks might be a good replacement for you. And that's the reality of it. And I know it's hard for a lot, not my baby, not my princess, but that's the reality of the average girl and above average girl. I'm not sure what unattractive girls, I don't know what their lifestyle or their work, if they can't get a man to have sex with them, I don't know what happens with them, but it's not my concern. My concern is to work with the average and above average women. So women's greatest secret is their ability to fuck multiple men. You will never hear a word, a peep, an inclination, an idea. Women are very good, and they learn very early on. There are guys that get like all kinds of violent and insane and just like out of their mind when a girl even goes, yeah, I talked to this guy at Quick Trip, or there's a guy at work that I was talking. I mean, and they will flip the fuck out. So girls learn not to mention other men around men. Very rarely. Sometimes they'll try it just to see if you're, dumb, or will go along with it, or, you're gullible, or you're a beta. But a lot of times they're hesitant because of men's violent inclinations when the least bit of jealousy perks up and they can't handle it. And you're never going to hear guys tell you this, because they're not going to go, yeah, my girlfriend came home and she had mentioned she had went to lunch with this guy and I lost my fucking mind. They're not going to tell you that, but it's going to happen. There's going to be guys that are like that. So girls have learned through self-preservation to never mention men around men. And really smart girls, as Bunny says, the first year or so, you'll never hear her mention like her dad, her uncles, her brother, anyone. So if you don't ask, she ain't talking. But the fact is when you meet a girl, again, this is where some of our common sayings, assume she is a slut. You will seldom be disappointed. Guys always get butt hurt and bent out of shape. Some girl they're casually dating, and he discovers accidentally or by on purpose that she's fucking another dude or dudes, and he starts to crumble, even though he's banging other chicks. Assume she is. If she's not, great, but she probably is. She's probably just better at hiding it than the other girls. Just know that she's attractive enough to attract you. She's attractive enough to have attracted other men. So she will have been having sex with someone when you meet her, and probably there will be some overlap, and that's just the fact. And unless you ask for exclusivity, or if you sit down with her and she says, hey, what are we? And you guys get into an exclusive relationship, assume she's still seeing other people. And she is. So women's greatest secret is their ability to fuck multiple men at the same time. Don't say Fort Worth Playboy didn't warn you, with each man thinking he's the only one. They'll deny this happens. Sisterhood protects itself, but you can ignore that. It happens all day, every day. They don't laugh about it behind your back. It's just a fact of life, like the sun coming up. So you should know that going in. Next slide. This is kind of a throwaway line, but it will apply to you most of the time. And it's something to look for. Feminine, skittish, submissive, fun. I always say, your better girls, not all, but most, will be nervous to eat around you. If she's not nervous to eat in front of you, she's not the one. Some girls, they're big girls. They're going to be big girls. They're going to eat a lot. It may be your thing. But generally, girls have to be nervous around you. They have to have a little bit of trepidation to be turned on. So you have to make them just your presence. You don't do it on purpose. You just be yourself. And that will make the right girls nervous enough. Most of them will not be able to eat and have no interest in eating around you whatsoever. It's just like, meet up for drinks. These guys are like, yeah, shouldn't I take her out to dinner? Fuck no. You haven't been fucking her for a while. Girls earn their meals. They earn their right to eat with you. Again, meet for drinks. It's easy. You can bail faster. And again, just like Bunny and I say, nobody likes fucking on a full stomach. You're bloated. She doesn't feel good. She thinks her belly's hanging out. She, when you fold her up, she thinks her belly's hanging out. All kinds of, bad camera angles, all kinds of things that don't lend itself to sexiness when you go out for dinner in the evening. So don't. Anyways, especially in the beginning, they're going to be too nervous to eat in front of you. So you buy her, an $80 meal and she just picks at it because she's too nervous because she knows she's going to have her, knees up around her ears in the next 2 hours. And she doesn't want her belly folds showing up. And she thinks that if she doesn't eat right now, it'll pay off. So again, if she's not nervous to eat in front of you, she's not the one. Most girls will not want to eat in front of you until they get comfortable or at least have been around you for a little while. And to us, that means we've been having sex for a few weeks or for a few months. Then they'll kind of like relax a little bit. So that is a rule of thumb. I don't think it's a hard and fast rule. Like there are some girls that have brothers and just for survival, some of that stuff's like tamped down. Or they, have been in masculine environments, like if they've been in the military or if they played on sports teams. They'll be it may not cross their minds quite as much, but extremely feminine girls that are not used to being around a bunch of dudes don't like eating. One, they don't like putting anything in their mouth. They don't like the fact that they might get something on them. They might get embarrassed. They might not drink right. They literally are afraid they'll just throw it in their own face because they're so nervous around you. Again, it's a good thing. You can see their hands actually shaking when they're taking a drink. But again, it doesn't lend herself to eating in front of you. And usually it's a good sign. So you should know that. Another rule of thumb. Next slide. If a girl rejects you by text or in person, do not give her the satisfaction of a negative reaction. Your reaction in person should be, okay, have a great day. And then move on. And then you treat her just as you did 15 minutes before you asked her out. She's just another girl. You're going to have another girl coming down the pipe in the next 15 minutes. Another bus is going to be arriving in 10 minutes. So do not, under any circumstances, let your face or your mannerisms or your attitude or your tone of voice belie your annoyance, which, a lot of guys, you're just going to be annoyed and and I think this really crops up when a guy's like on a bad streak and, he's like asked 3 or 4 or 5 girls out and the 5th or 6th one is like, no, I'm not interested. I got to wash my hamster. And he's like, oh, okay, that's fucking great. He's mentally running this through his head, but it's still coming out of his mouth. Again, it should be neutral. If it's online or by text, roger that. 10-4, okay. Just something, a throwaway line, and then just leave it alone. Don't ever contact her again. If she's interested, she'll contact with you. And one thing that Bunny has said about this, especially if they're social circle or they're at the gym or when you're cool about a girl not being able to meet up. But remember, most of it's timing. We'll talk about that in a second. They will tend to do 2 things. They'll go, well, one, that's not what I expected. And 2, maybe I made a mistake. And sometimes they will, but don't depend on it. We'll circle back around and go, you know what? Thursday, I think I can do that. So when you play it cool and you do not react in a negative manner, everything is working in your favor. You haven't given anything away. If anything, you're working in your favor. Again, it gives her a good impression of you. Even when you ask a girl out and you do get rejected, 90% of it is timing. You don't have any concept of what she has going on in the background of her. And when I say by concept, I mean how many dicks she's currently riding at that moment. It could be one or it could be 10. It's always one. Always assume she's fucking somebody. But she's got one, and he's finally starting to get serious. She's not going to jeopardize that going out with you an unknown quantity. So a lot of asking girls out, and a lot of times they rejected you, it's simply a matter of timing. If you had asked her out 3 weeks ago, right after she broke up with her boyfriend, she might have said yes, simply because it was a good time. It's good timing. It has so very little to do with you over time. If you really, I mean, the more you learn, the more you meet girls, the more girls you talk to, the more after action you do, the longer you're doing this, and girls circle back around, you can kind of ask questions. Nearly invariably, 99% of the time, it's an ex, or they're working on some dude that they've been pursuing for some time and finally starting to show some interest, and she's not going to fuck that up. She can't. So therefore, girls tend to stick with the guy that she's been fucking for the last 6 months with no commitment. And then you come along and you want to go out the same night he wants to go out. She's not going to risk that. So it's timing, as opposed to she just finds out her boyfriend is married. She's like, well, this sucks. And that happened last week. And you ask her out today. She's like, you know what? I'll do it. I'll go out. So a lot of it, rejection is, and actually rejection and acceptance is a matter of timing, either way. But when you do deal with rejection, mostly it's just bad timing. If and when she does, stay neutral. Thanks for her time. Have a great day. Move on. Treat her just like you did the moment before you asked her out, because nothing has changed. You're back to just back on. And you talk to a lot of girls. The more you do this, the more you'll become very, very flat about it. And it just works better. I was going to go through next slide. I was going to go through. Okay, we'll try this. Chateau Artiste. Sluts, while possessing past spattered with cum shots of multiple lovers, are not less discriminating than saints. Betas thinking that all they have to do is hone in on sluts for an easy kill or in for a rude surprise. Sluts want to be properly gamed by an alpha male just as much as good girls. The difference is that sluts will sleep with more alphas and will jump into bed quicker with them than will good girls. No girl wants to be like a slut, even if she co-opts the term for herself in a vain attempt to defang it, which is why women lie about their past numbers of partners. Women know deep down that being less slutty means better treatment from men. And what this is important to convey is, and what I believe Chateau Artiste really wanted to hone in on, is as you're improving your skills, a lot of guys, when they're beta and they really want to start out, they'll look for girls that are known as pretty easy, pretty slutty, but she'll shut them down. Girls that are slutty don't necessarily have lower standards. They will just sleep with the alphas faster, and they sleep with more alphas. They don't really have a number limit. They don't go, I'm only going to have sex with one guy a day. They'll have sex with 2 men in one day. I mean, there's certain things. The bottom, how would you say, the level of entry, or your what is needed basically is not lower with slutty girls. They just sleep with more guys at a certain level or above. So your game has to still be tight. Naive girls are a little less attractive, girls that are kind of in their own experimentation phase, that would probably be your better bets when you're still trying to get your feet under you. And I mean, really, when you are learning how to get your feet under you, you're not quite sure what yes girls look like. So you talk to a lot of girls and you'll learn to be more discriminating. But slutty girls, again, while having a past of lots of men, they're not more picky. They'll say yes more readily to guys a certain level and above. And it's not, the level that isn't actually that high. Once you start looking around, it's kind of like when I say, if you can see some of the losers she's fucked, you would lose interest. And she's always fucked a couple of losers at some point. You're not the biggest loser she's fucking, I promise. But sluts want to be properly gamed by an alpha male. They want to at least believe it. And that's important. That's why guys, when they're kind of starting out, they're like, damn, she sleeps with anyone. She shot me down, because your game isn't tight enough yet to actually hit her minimum requirements. And that's okay. That's part of and you can come back. There's nothing, I mean, you'd be surprised. Guys, work on their game. They show back up in front of her, and she's like, he's not the same guy that he was a year ago. There's something about him. And that something about him is you have more charisma and you know how to handle yourself, because you banged 10 girls that last year. And you're like, not that concerned if she says yes or no. So that's the real deal. No girl wants to be labeled a slut. They'll always say, they'll co-opt it. Bunny and I have some good stories on a program where they went to a slut march, but the interviewer couldn't actually get any of the girls to say that they were a slut. They say, my friends are sluts and I support them, or everybody's a slut, but they would not say, yes, I would sleep with anyone under any conditions. I'm pretty slutty. We're talking like hundreds of girls. He could not get one to actually say this. So they all have qualifiers, but girls will avoid that label, and it's hardwired to avoid it. Women know deep down that being less slutty means better treatment from men, whether consciously or unconsciously. And let's go to the last slide. Average advice. Just focus on yourself, bro. I've seen this a lot lately, and I don't know why I've been seeing a lot, but I remember actual advice. Being inside your head makes you goofy. Go meet some girls, bro. Because here's the deal. Shy women can still get laid like tile. Shy women can find a husband. Shy women can turn out just fine. Shy men struggle. They pay the highest prices. They may not even be allowed in the market, and they always get their ass kicked. Being shy as a man is a net negative that is so great it will override all other aspects of your personality and appearance and accomplishments. Don't let it. Fake it if you have to make it. Again, irrational self-confidence is greater. It's a greater aphrodisiac, a greater attractor than humble lack of confidence. You don't need that in your life. You need to fake it till you make it. Self-confidence is an attractor. It's an aphrodisiac to women. Do not get into your own head. Most men who are struggling with women are already in their head too goddamn much as it is. That's the last thing you need. Actual advice, get outside of your head, talk to more people. That's why the number one habit that I tell men, you want to get laid more, you want to learn game faster, you need to say hi to every attractive woman you see, because no one has gotten laid without starting the conversation with hi. Hey, how's it going? Hey, I'm Fourth Playboy. What's your name? Just starting the conversation, and then it leads up, and then you're fucking. And these guys that want to fuck, they keep forgetting that it starts here. They want to like jump here. Well, that's prostitution. You can do that too. But if you want normal, seduction, attraction, seduction game, and moving a girl from complete stranger to naked and in your bed, you have to start with hi. Hey, how's it going? That's how all sex happens at the end of the day. No sex happens with just like she knocks on your front door. She doesn't know who you are. She comes in. It's crazy. And then guys will be like, yeah, I don't want to have to say hi to people. I'm shy. It's not going to work out. You just have to recognize that. So that's the real deal. Hang on. Let's see if we got a question. I hope I can answer it. Fort, I find it interesting. Fear of approaching only exists before the interaction. While looking to the woman, while talking to the woman, I could care less whether she likes me or not. Outcome independent. Very much. I think the fear of unknown, he has a good point, and it's an extremely important point. If you haven't approached a lot of women, you haven't said, that's where saying hi. It becomes automatic. And then that means small talk can become automatic. And then you can get to where small talk, you can guide it into something more specific. Once you're in it, once you're it's kind of like anything else, like you're a party that you're dreading. A lot of guys, they dread social interaction. But generally, once they get there, they're fine. You just got to get in there, and then you're in the moment, especially smarter guys, like guys that, that develop these skills are above average in intelligence. You don't get a lot of dumb guys in this world. But once you're in it, everything else falls away and you focus. And then you come out, you either got a number or you're taking her back to your place. I mean, it could be anything. But the fear of approach, and again, that's why the 3-second rule, you see a girl that you want to speak to, you just go over less than 3 seconds. There's no time to think. And that's where you get the knee-jerk reaction. You become a habit of when you see a girl that's attracted to you, hey, what's going on? And then you can go from there. You'll get better and faster at it. And you're more relaxed, and that helps her relax. So there's all kinds of benefits. And Bakes Online is absolutely correct in that observation that everything kind of falls away. I could care less whether she likes me or not. And that's exactly the attitude that causes a lot of women to like you a lot. That's very smart. Last thing is, if you have any interest in our products, you can find bunnies at myplayboysbunny.gumroad.com. You can find mine at fortworthplayboy.gumroad.com. If you guys have any questions, by all means, let us know. But I am out of here. We will be back tomorrow at 7 a.m., Bunny and I, for 2-on-1 question and answer period. And we'll be covering some basics. Hope you guys have a great day.